The Pharmacy Assessment System is a practical assessment tool which must be completed every 6 months by the supervising pharmacist and approved by the superintendent and pharmacy owner. Completing the assessment will help the supervising pharmacist to demonstrate their control over the management and administration of the pharmacy. The assessment system was introduced following extensive consultation. It is intended to support quality management in pharmacy and ultimately improve patient safety. From 2017, during inspections, PSI inspectors will verify that the assessment has been completed in the pharmacy and will review action plans which have been developed following completion of the assessment. It is intended to help critically review the pharmacy's practice, to identify good practice, and highlight areas where improvements are required in order to promote patient safety and ongoing compliance. Pharmacies who are completing the assessment on a continuous basis and can demonstrate that they are actively implementing the action plans are more likely to receive a shorter, notified inspection in the future. The Pharmacy Assessment System contains 6 assessment sections, each relating to a key area of a pharmacy's practice. The first 5 sections must be completed by all pharmacies. Section 6 should be completed if the pharmacy supplies to patients in a nursing home or in another type of residential care setting. Each section of the assessment system contains 3 parts: a review of the particular area of practice, an assessment of the level of compliance in your pharmacy, and the development of an action plan to address any issues that have been found during the review. The review contains blank templates, similar to a workbook with practical audit activities and questions which are based on relevant legislation, PSI guidance, and principles of good pharmacy practice. The review will assist the supervising pharmacist to identify what is being done well in the pharmacy and to highlight any areas of non-compliance or areas where improvements are required in the pharmacy. To help you get started, here is an example from the review of the sale and supply of non-prescription medicines. In this example, the supply of non-prescription medicines to a patient is observed. You will document the interaction between the patient and pharmacy staff member and record details of the date of supply, the medicines requested by the patient and the medicine supplied, patient symptoms, interaction with the patient, and whether the patient was referred to the pharmacist, the counselling provided to the patient, and if any improvements could have been made on that interaction with the patient. With the review completed, you can move on to the compliance assessment. There are 4 levels of compliance outlined, and having done the review, consider the statements in the compliance assessment and select the level of compliance that you think best represents your pharmacy. The compliance statements are a guide to help you determine what compliance looks like for the different sections. These statements are not an exhaustive list. Having completed the review and the compliance assessment, you may have identified areas of non-compliance or areas where improvements are required. When you're completing your action plan, you will need to document the actions that you plan on taking in order to achieve compliance or to make improvements, and the name of the person responsible for each action and the target date for completing the actions. The supervising pharmacist must sign off on the action plans for every section. It is important that members of the pharmacy team are also involved. You can record any additional comments in this section. The superintendent pharmacist and the pharmacy owner must also review the completed assessment and approve the action plans. It may be useful to use the SMART technique when completing your action plan. It can be used to help ensure that the actions planned result in the desired outcomes. Be specific. Your actions need to be clear in order for everyone to understand them, and not too general. Measurable. Your actions need to be quantifiable. Make sure you avoid being vague. Ask yourself how you will measure the results and what changes you hope to see. Achievable. Actions need to be attainable within realistic timelines. And relevant. Your action needs to be relevant to what you want to accomplish. Timely. Is the timeline appropriate? For example, in an area for improvement requiring immediate action, this should have a short timeline. The action plan booklet will be reviewed by PSI inspectors at the time of inspection. Every pharmacy has received a hard copy of the pharmacy assessment system, and an editable electronic PDF is available on the PSI website. We have also developed a detailed guide which provides useful information, frequently asked questions, and more examples on how to fill out the assessment system. If you have questions or require assistance in relation to completing the assessment system, please email inspectionproject@psi.ie.